Hi, I'm Dave.
Hi, I'm Robin.
Welcome
to Schoolwide Download. Welcome back to Schoolwide Download, Beyond the Lesson Plan. I'm Robin.
And I'm Dave. And for today's episode, we're going to have a little conversation, maybe a little bit of debate about a little bit of, I'm going to call it current relevant, ever so relevant technology in the classroom. I've heard many conversations, whether it's in a professional learning community, if it's in the teacher's lounge, if it's in Google Messenger, but especially when somebody says a statement like, you know, I tried using AI to help me write some lesson plans, which has blossomed into a lot of other things. But Robin, what are we going to discuss and possibly debate today?
We've got the tool throwdown today. We're going to be talking between the two tools, ChatGPT versus Gemini. Now, we're very aware that there are other tools. There's Microsoft Copilot.
There's Claude. There are lots of LLMs out there. Let me get the right acronym. There's lots of tools out there that are available to you. We kind of settled on these two because, you know, in some respects, ChatGPT was the first out of the gate. So a lot of us got immersed in that at first. And then because we do what we do, which is teach, and we're in the education space, Google has been...
It's there. It's there right now. So if you're in Google school,
it's in your Waffle.
It's in your Waffle. And I think the reason we kind of are talking about these two, like you said, ChatGPT was one of the first ones out. We're going to get into it, but that's probably the one that people are most familiar with, just because it's been around. Gemini did come out, but it came out a little clunky. I don't feel like that their release was as smooth, or their transition into
it was not
AI
smooth.
world as ChatGPT was.
But if I'm not mistaken, I think they took their image creation down because when given certain prompts, it came up with less than appropriate imagery. But
so I think
that's
those
the
are
distant
the two.
past.
Yes, it is. Oh, yes. So those are the two that we've settled on that we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, and you know, one of the bits of advice I would want to give people right away, if this is a space that you're hypothetically dipping your toe into the pool for the first time, my personal belief is absolutely, unequivocally, do not pay for either of these.
Nope.
Utilize the free version till you get to the point that you realize that there's either advantages to a paid version. If there's things that what you're wanting to do, the free version is incapable of. If there's got to be a reason. Don't just think or assume that you've got to get a paid version to be able to benefit from this or from either of these tools. Unequivocally, that is not the case.
Right. Let me ask you this: how often do you use AI? Would you say daily?
Are you talking weekly?
Any tool, just AI in general. How often do you use it?
Oh, I will, just so that it doesn't go too deep, I'll just say daily.
Daily? More than once?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Me too. I just am curious.
Absolutely.
Because like you said, if you're dipping your foot into it for the first time, you're not familiar. I come across teachers all the time that are just not ready. They're not there yet. And we do this, I want to say, for a living. You know, we're in and we're coaching and we're supporting teachers, but we're also in this space of AI. And so I feel like we use it for that reason, but I use it personally. Yes, daily.
Oh,
more than that. Okay.
Yeah. And I think the other thing for me specifically is, you know, sometimes it will be, you know, if you'd ask me, do I use it daily for my work here at the ESC? Most likely, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Do I ever use it for other personal things to save time or maybe do something that I would not be very strong at doing it without AI? Yes, probably on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Quick anecdote to show you how quickly these things can happen. My dad lives in South Carolina. He's having a holiday party this weekend.
Okay.
He called me and said, hey, can you help me with something? I said, sure, what is it? He's like, well, we're having some couples over for the holidays, and we want to have a fun activity where it's holiday music trivia by the decade.
Oh, cool.
55 to 65, 65 to 75.
Yeah.
He said, we're stopping at 2015 because we're all pretty old and we don't think we'd know anything beyond 2015. I was like, you're not that old. He's 84. It's not that old. He's like, do you think you could help me create something? And I said, well, what do you want? He said, well, for each decade, we want 2 or 3 questions on
Very cool. Yeah.
holiday music. I said, well, why not ask for 4 and just pick the 2 that you like? Okay. He's like, well, can you do that for me? I said, of course I can. It's done.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. See, and that's right there.
So,
That's so fun.
yes, I could have Google searched and done, it was done. And then what's even funnier, which is one of the things that I think will come up with as we kind of discuss ChatGPT and Gemini, is every time he's like, okay, well, that's great. And I'm like, oh, wait. It's saying, would you like me to create a list of holiday music to play while you're playing the trivia game?
Oh, okay, yeah.
And he's like, yeah, sure. I was like, oh, wait. He goes, thanks. I go, well, wait. It says, would you like suggestions on holiday mocktails and cocktails to have beverages during the game?
So you basically were like a party planner in a Snap.
I should have built them.
You should have. Ask for a really nice Christmas.
So, yeah,
So those are ways you can use it. Well, how are teachers using these AI tools, which we've talked about a lot last season? What were ways that teachers are using these things to help them in the classroom?
Well, I mean, and obviously the first thing I think that came to a lot of teachers' minds, and mine as well, is what is one of the biggest drains on your time, that you spend a lot of time in preparation,
Absolutely.
that you're constantly refining, hopefully. It's lesson planning.
Lesson planning, definitely. If anybody is just now trying, I think that's the first step, is the lesson planning.
Yes, but Robin, it's not going to be aligned to Ohio standards
Yes, it is.
because you just give them to them.
Exactly. I ask for it, it does it. If I need a rubric feedback, if I need differentiating task, email response.
I think rubrics are a great way to assess. I hate making them.
Right.
So I don't anymore.
No. Rubrics, or I said rubrics, parent emails. Seriously, when you have an angry parent, that's an easy way. So we've talked about all of these tools and how they shorten your workload. And so that's great. But which tool are you using? So which one is better, ChatGPT or Gemini, for these tasks?
All right. So are we drawing a line and one of us is on one side and one is on the other?
Let's explain what each of them do. How about that?
Okay.
So I'll start with ChatGPT. ChatGPT I'm very familiar with. I use it daily. I will say that is my go-to.
It's probably the first one you used.
Yeah. I'm familiar with it, but there's a lot of finessing. So you really have to kind of like, I always say it's a conversation, and it gets to know you, and then it can help you to like respond to things according to what it remembers about you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So ChatGPT, I mean, there's a million things you can do with it. All the things we listed, the party planning, recipes, I mean, you name it, it can do it. So that's kind of like what ChatGPT is. So what about Gemini?
Yeah, and like you, I was a frequent user of ChatGPT, and I kind of slowly got into the Google space just to Gemini.
Yeah.
Because inevitably, not too long ago, there it was in my Waffle.
Yeah.
There's Gemini, and I know one of the things you don't like, and I think people that don't like this, it's there. Like you don't have to ask it to come to the party. It's at the party.
Like I like typing
there.
ChatGPT when I want it. It's up right now. I have a tab, but look right there.
There
she is.
There she
Gemini. I didn't ask for her to be there.
Yep.
But she's there.
Yep. So, and I do think as this technology is evolving,
right,
for both of them, but I've noticed it more, at least in my opinion, there's been some dramatic updates to Gemini that have drawn me to the technology. We're not going to go deeply into any of those, but other tools that are Gemini driven, like Notebook LM, things like Gems, things like Vids. So Google is putting forth and pushing through Gemini driven tools that
is
are very, very, I think, valuable for people honestly in any profession. But when you've got a tool that's already set up for design outputs like FAQs, quizzes, flashcards, presentations, very teacher friendly.
Well, and I think there's a security too, right? Like
Yep.
Google is already an educational platform, and there's those privacy and
Yes.
it's built within. So is Gemini? Is it built into
Right.
that
So one
as
of the
well?
things that is also extremely appealing is I use the terminology a fenced-in yard.
Yeah.
So it comes into your educational domain.
Okay.
Obviously concerns over data privacy and personally identifiable information. It addresses those, which is huge. So once again, I think that was a huge decision that was made easier. Which space should I be working in? When Gemini enabled that, it's just a much safer space. However, what just happened in the last 2 weeks with ChatGPT?
They came out with a teacher platform.
Teacher version.
Teacher version.
Yep.
So basically what Gemini did, it created that fence. Now, my husband's in education. They're Google's district. So he is asked to use Gemini because it's part of their fence, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, I have attempted to train him in ChatGPT when it first came out. And I've showed him. And so he, in the beginning, really preferred ChatGPT. But now he's not required, but they've asked him to use Gemini. And now he's prefers, he's getting more comfortable. So, I mean, I think it's like one of those things. Now, I've done a little bit of like dabbling with the teacher, like platform with ChatGPT. I really don't see much of a difference. I guess it's the privacy piece of it that I'm not aware of.
I would think that would be the biggest piece. I just think with Google being in the education space for so long, I think there's some inherent advantages to that. And as these tools continue to interact with Gemini, if you need a spreadsheet or if you need a presentation or a slide deck, just the fact that they're in the same space, I think those integrations are going to continue to get better. And I'm not saying that ChatGPT is incapable of doing that, but just in our educator universe, it's hard to deny that Google already has a huge head start.
They do. Well, and it's kind of like they stumbled to release, which made us hesitate, like, oh, maybe we shouldn't use it. But maybe they took their time and now they've gotten it right, and they're going to surpass. Because like you said, all those things you just listed, I'm like, oh, I love that. Oh, I love that. And I kind of forget that that is a Google,
right?
Like that's a Google tool.
And we're not here to determine which one's going to prevail or which one. We're not going to tell you which one to use.
No.
It's going to be more of a comfort thing. And if you're comfortable with using one of the tools, stick with it. See what you can. And then if you start to experience frustrations or you wish there was capabilities, then obviously check out what your options are. Once again, my only advice, which I said initially, is don't immediately assume that it's not doing something because you have to pay for it. Oftentimes that's not the case.
It's kind of funny, like ChatGPT will write the novel, Google Gemini will create the spreadsheet, and they're going to rule the world because you can really use both for different things.
Yeah. So, why don't you share, like, what are things that teachers should look for, things that are reliable, things that help clarify, like what would be some examples?
Yeah, like if you're not really worried about which tool is the most popular, you just want to run down what's important to you. Well, obviously correct information. You'd like to have that. Clear student-friendly explanations, that's going to matter. Saving prep time, supporting learners, easy integration. We're not here to make your job harder. We're trying to make it easier. So I think those are like good checks.
Yeah, and just remember, the terminology that's used to describe or for an error or something that's incorrect coming out of AI is a hallucination. Both of them are capable of giving you inaccurate information. So there still is an element of vetting. One of the things that I think from a teacher perspective, and this is something you obviously want to discuss with your colleagues, with your administration, with your district, is, I do think there's some importance in being transparent. That you're using it.
Yeah. We're going to get to that point. We kind of already are. When I use ChatGPT, because that's what I go to mostly, I like to say, like, I did use it. So it's not so that they know it wasn't created by me, but that I had the help.
Well,
so like almost like citing it, or,
And you can go, there's APA correct ways to cite the use of AI. And the last thing I would want is for some of my, middle school or high school students to say, I know Mr. Clark's using
Yeah.
I know he's using
Yeah,
AI to
yeah.
so just tell them.
Yeah, just be.
Because it is about working smarter, not harder. And I still think, because I know we may go into here in a second into student use, I just think the more we make the usage of ChatGPT or Google Gemini or a similar tool, the so-called forbidden fruit, I think that encourages students to use it in ways that we really just be transparent about it. And hey, I'm going to use this to help me develop a test. I'm going to check all the questions.
Yeah.
There's no reason you can't say that you're using technology to help design learning experiences.
Absolutely.
For
And
your
at the end of
students.
the day, it's about the prompting. It doesn't matter if you're using Gemini or ChatGPT, it's the way you prompt it to get the response you want. So let's talk about student use. I mean, we're there. We've talked about that last season. You know, what do you think between the two on student use? Or do you, I mean, it's not really what we're here to debate, but I'm just kind of curious.
Right. You know, and I know there's a wide range of opinions on this, and I think there's some facts, there's some relevance to all of these positions. I do teach a course at UC, and I have assignments where I encourage my students to use
Okay. That's
AI.
Yeah.
And then what it really has me do, which I believe is a positive, it really forces me to be very precise and very specific with what I'm assessing.
Okay.
So, for example, one of our assignments is the students create a choice board, which I think is a great digital tool.
It is.
So they're creating the choice board. The learning that I am assessing is the creation of this digital artifact, which is a choice board. If you click on the links, it opens up the learning, and that's what I'm assessing.
Yeah.
I'm not grading them on their ability to find the content for each of the squares on the choice board.
Right.
So can they use artificial intelligence to get the content? Yes, because I'm not assessing that.
Right.
And I think if there's guidelines and examples of acceptable use, I think I just think that makes I mean, we've talked about it before, and we're not going into this deep end either. Academic dishonesty is nothing new.
Right.
I think the more
Right.
transparent we are and the more reason we get, the better we are in telling what we're assessing, whether it's ChatGPT or Gemini. I think that's going to have a positive impact.
I think for me, I think it supports learning like we've talked about in the past, but I think students would, if they're allowed to use, if we get to that point, ChatGPT, it's more of a conversation. So they're getting that feedback immediately, that back and forth, because it's like you're
Yes.
talking to someone or to whoever.
Whomever,
Yeah.
Just be nice to them.
Yep. And then Gemini is more of a quick response, I feel like. Gemini is very quick to generate. It's not a conversation. I feel like you even said when you were creating the holiday thing, ChatGPT was offering like, would you like for me to create a holiday drink to go with that? What music would you like? It's a conversation. Gemini just gives it to you. It's just there.
I definitely agree with that. And it's like, I love being prompted for more questions, but I usually have to tell ChatGPT, okay, that's all I want.
Because it's too much?
Yeah,
See, and I
because
appreciate
which
it.
I don't mind.
Yeah.
I don't mind. But one of the things to just kind of remember, so in either example, whether it's GPT or Gemini, we're leveraging this piece of technology, artificial intelligence, to support learning, not replace it.
Exactly.
We're
not here to
this
replace
is not
us.
jeopardizing our position as a classroom instructor or teacher. It's here for us to do time-consuming things in a more efficient manner, not so that we get to go home an hour early, but so that we have time to do other things that strengthen relationships and learning within the classroom.
So it comes down to it. Are you ChatGPT or are you Gemini?
Now, if I have to pick, I was unabashedly team GPT till about the last couple of months.
So you're Gemini.
I'm entertaining.
You heard it. He's a Gemini.
I'm entertaining the offer from Gemini.
Do you pay for Gemini?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
I actually, to be honest, I pay for both just because of the amount of workshops.
Do you have to if it's in our?
Well,
is it better?
Well, yeah, it is.
Okay, it is.
So,
what does it give you?
Because I present on both.
Okay.
I feel like I got to understand what.
I see.
So
because if you're not in the educational space, you have to pay for it. But we get it. Like she's there.
She's in our Waffle.
Like I see her. So do I have a different version than you do?
I haven't done that deep of a dive.
Okay, well, I'm just curious.
well-
I don't use it enough. I only use it for images. It does
Yeah.
create better images, I think. I'm ChatGPT because I appreciate the conversation.
Well,
I like the conversation. Back
I
and
was
forth.
writing a grant, and
Okay.
I gave all the grant information
Yeah.
to ChatGPT,
Yeah,
and I gave all the grant information to Gemini, and I just had them.
yeah.
So to be honest, some of the writing and some of the way that ChatGPT organized my grant, I liked better.
Okay.
Gemini, I didn't feel did as good of a job, but once again, it depends on how you set it up.
Do you think that
So-
I love how I say Gemini's a she and
Yeah, I didn't. I
ChatGPT's
was
a boy,
curious
but
about how you knew that.
I
but-
don't. I just do you think she will get there? Gemini will get to that point where ChatGPT is
I think
as they evolve.
hypothetically, if I worked for ChatGPT, I would be well aware of what Google is doing
Yeah, yeah,
in Gemini.
yeah,
I will tell you 100% in support of something you said
yeah.
right now.
You do? You agree with me?
I agree with you on this. So and I think the term they use for their image generator in Gemini
Oh, yeah.
is Nano Banana.
It is. Why is that?
I don't know, but
I thought it was
just
something that
think
I did.
I think it's funny.
Okay.
No, but I can ask Gemini for a specific image with specific
Yeah.
criteria, and right now I'm much more pleased with the
I
image
agree.
developed by Gemini, and it's much quicker.
Yeah,
Sometimes for either one, you still have to kind of tell it repeatedly things to do, which it
Yeah.
sometimes struggles. But the image generation currently in Gemini is just in my examples,
agree.
it has
It's
done
quicker.
much better.
It's quicker.
much quicker. But both write exceptionally well.
yeah.
They ask you questions if you need
ChatGPT
clarification.
is just my friend. It's my friend.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
no,
I don't
I
know.
get it. I get it.
so I think it doesn't, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter which one you prefer. You can prefer, either one for different things. Clearly you hear kind of where we're at, but at the end of the day, take a topic and drop it in both and see what you like you did with the grant. Take photosynthesis for 5th grade. Ask it to describe it in kid-friendly language in ChatGPT. Ask them to do it in Gemini and see which one you like, and maybe that'll help you to make that decision.
Yeah, and if your district is a Microsoft district, drop it into Copilot
yeah.
as well. So that way you'll have a couple of examples. If you look at all three of them, maybe you find one does better
Yeah.
than the other. And once again, your Copilot, if that's what your district is asking you to use, it's an AI tool that I'm sure will
Exactly.
be able to do all of the things that you need it to do. Sometimes it's just nice to see what another one will provide,
I agree.
just so that you have, maybe it explains it more clearly. Maybe it came up with more. I use the tools a lot for brainstorming ideas.
Yeah,
So if
yeah.
I'm trying to come up with a concept, why not take the extra minute and just drop it into 2 and see?
good-
Ultimately my goal is to figure out, based on my needs, which are not going to be the
Yeah.
same as every other teacher, which one. I've always been a believer that if something saves me hours and allows me to maybe work more efficiently and get higher quality, whether it's lessons or assessments, if it's, which most of them are, $15 to $20 a month, one of those
Right.
can save me the amount of time that it may be worth paying for it. But a lot of your districts may have things available
Yeah.
to you within if it's Google, within your Google domain, that you won't even need to do that. So they both have
I feel like
strengths.
you could kind of layer them both. So I think, but I'm still with ChatGPT. I don't care. I'm still going to stick with it. All right. Well, that's all the time we have for today.
Yep.
So thanks for joining us on another episode of Schoolwide Download. Be sure to follow, like, comment, give us your feedback. Let us know. Which do you prefer, Gemini or ChatGPT?
See you next episode.